Thank you very much to the entire organizing committee. My address today is concentrated to our elected officials in the room. As we commemorate 2 years since the death of Jina Mahsa Amini, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for not forgetting about her, not forgetting Iranian people's struggle for freedom and democracy in Iran, not forgetting that what happens in Iran directly affects the safety of the free world, including here in Canada for all Canadians. For 45 years since the establishment of a brutal theocratic regime that suppresses the rights of its own people, the vast majority of Iranians have wanted change. Protests sprung up throughout the years, but when Jina Mahsa was killed, it was different. It was a turning point, a point of no return. Not only were the protests widespread throughout the nation, spread across cities, ethnic, religious, gender, and political lines, but it involved people of all ages and socioeconomic classes. It was the start of a nationwide revolution. While some think the movement is dead because we see fewer live protests, the reality is that the day Jina Mahsa died, Iran changed. Iranians changed. And Iranians, through their spilt blood and sacrifice, proved to the world that the regime is not reformable and that their demand is very clear for a complete change in regime. They will not stand to go back to the old ways. Despite facing imprisonment, rape, torture, women can still be seen walking on the streets without their hijab in a courageous act of defiance against their suppressors. The rise of this movement instilled more than hope, but a belief that we can and will achieve our dream of a free and democratic Iran. We had ups and downs, both in Iran and in the diaspora, but I can assure you this movement is not dead, and it is very much alive. We're just getting more organized, more strategic, creating networks that will be at the ready for the right time. But for Iranians to have a better chance at succeeding, we need the West's support. What does support mean? At the very basic level, it means siding in solidarity with the freedom-loving people and denying legitimacy to this undemocratic regime. It means not laying out the red carpet for regime officials, not shaking their hands or bowing with big smiles and photographs during bilateral meetings. It means not elevating them to chair the Commission on the Status of Women at the UN or the UN Conference on Non-Proliferation. It means walking out on their speeches when they spew lies and hate. It means not giving in to hostage diplomacy or repeating their propaganda, equivocating this new president as some kind of moderate who will bring reform to the country. In simple terms, it means not appeasing the regime. Now that we've listed the IRGC on the terrorist list, we must enforce rules with travel bans and asset freezes on regime officials so that dissidents who escaped Iran do not come face to face with their captors and torturers on the streets or at the gym. I say this not as hypotheticals, but examples based on real occurrences. We need to investigate the foreign interference by the regime by monitoring international money transfer shops and banks and designating expert Iranian Canadians who understand the politics and nuances of our community at global affairs, at the police level, at border services and immigration. The regime's laundered money is getting filtered into Canada and funneled to Islamic centers where extreme Islamist orators have spewed anti-Semitism and violence, funding protests you see on our university campuses today. Money that has gone to organized crime units to carry out assassination plots against dissidents. And of course, the billions of dollars that we already know have gone to terrorist groups. When the world decides to come together to stop this gender apartheid regime, just as it had to end apartheid in South Africa, by cutting off economic and diplomatic ties, we will see stability in the Middle East, no nuclear threat, more safety to all Canadians. For the sake of Jina Mahsa, for Zahra Kazemi, for Kavus Sayed Emami, for all the victims of Flight PS752, and for the safety of all Canadians, we must concentrate on a strong Iran policy with our allies and support our crusade. Thank you very much. Zan, Zendegi, Azadi, woman, life,